Okay, part 3 this evening. We're going to move the basket. So we're going to track the mouse. We're going to use mouse movement to move the basket. And eventually we're going to have multiple baskets, but for now, let's just talk about a single basket. All right, so let's go over to the scene here. Now, last you remember, hopefully you remember, we have our tree. Tree's moving left to right, dropping apples. If it hits the ground, if it hits the basket, right? So game is practically playing itself. We're doing great. All right, we have this basket though. So now here's where I think is another place where I diverge from the textbook. If you have the textbook, Jeremy Gibson's, I think it's Jeremy Gibson's Programming C#, you're using Unity. I want to recommend this. I don't think you should move the baskets directly. Why? Well, baskets don't move by themselves. And if you have multiple baskets, they certainly don't move independently, right? So they shouldn't move independently. You shouldn't be writing things, shouldn't be processing stuff unnecessarily. You know, I'm a big fan of efficiency. So there should be a player to this game, right? There should be a player. Now maybe we can't see the player. We don't see what it is that's holding the basket. Maybe we do. Maybe in your version of the game you do. Maybe there is the player isn't invisible. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create an empty, and I'm going to put this empty right here at the bottom of the screen. Start off at basically 0, negative 4.25, because that's a good number, and 0. Okay, so this invisible thing right there, smack in the middle of the screen, towards the bottom, and that is going to be quote unquote the player. All right. Now, as the player moves, I want the basket to move. So what do? I want this basket to be a child of the player. Now, where is my basket over here? Ground, Lego tree, Lego chest. All right, so I do this. I say, okay, game object, which is now called player. That controls the Lego chest because the player, and I will capitalize Lego chest. I don't know why. I should probably. I don't know. That's one thing anyway. All right, player, Lego chest. Now, what's going to happen if I go to Lego chest, no, I have a player here, and I move that, you'll notice that the Lego chest is now moving along with it because it is a child of that. Okay, that's good. All right, back and forth. Player is at. Right, player should be. Where's the player? Y should be. Where does it go? 0. No, that's negative 4.25. Now the question is, why was this? That's 0. Lego chest. Oh, okay. So you notice the Lego chest now, that the player's at 0, but the Lego chest is over there. So let's do this. There we go. All right. The Lego chest should be at 0, 0. What does that mean? Well, it means that it is exactly where the player is. It does not offset from the player. It is exactly where the player is. We'll get into that a little bit later. A little bit more. To be exciting. All right. So Lego chest does have a chest behavior. That's because each chest may or may not collide with something. It's going to depend on things. There's going to be some behavior that's unique to each chest, but the player is also going to need some stuff, right? So we're going to call this Apple Tree Player. All right. Why am I doing that? Because, well, I may have other scripts that I'm going to need to call things. But so I'm going to have Apple Tree Player. There it is. Apple Tree Player. All right. How do I make the Apple Tree Player move? I'm going to do that in update. Right? It's going to be dynamic. It's going to happen all the time. Right? So I'm going to need something. I'm going to need a position. So I'm going to say vector2 vector 3. Vector 3, mouse position. All right. Let's get the mouse position. Mouse position equals, let's see, ApplePicker player mouse position. Don't want that. Mouse up event. Oh, what was it? Mouse cursor, mouse enter event, mouse event base. Input.mouse position. There it is. All right. So let's, for a moment, just say mouse position, print mouse position. Right now, not mouse position, that one. All right. This is going to happen too fast. We're going to like overflow things, but just for, oh, vector 3, what's complaining? Is an ambiguous reference. What did I do? Well, that's weird. Is that something new? Interesting. New version of Unity making me do that? Or maybe it's because I put that. What was that doing there? What's that? What's that about? I don't know what that was from. Weird. There. That's what I'm used to seeing. Isn't that system numeric stuff? What was that weird? All right, back here. Print it. Ready? Hit play. Move around. You'll notice 327, 533, 327, 533. Lots of numbers. And those numbers seem really big. Right? Why are they big? Well, because they're in screen coordinates. Right? We talked about screen coordinates in our other our video about screen coordinates, world coordinates, things that have to be translated. They have to be converted in between screen coordinates and world coordinates because we want to move the basket to a world position, not a screen position. All right, so how do we do that? Well, fortunately, if you recall, when we converted in our, where did we do that? In our tree script, we were able to convert from camera.main screen to world point. Right, we figured out, okay, oh, that's, which one is that? Tree behavior versus tree script. Oh, that's another one. So anyway, the same idea. Calculate the extents of the screen. A slightly different version. All right, screen, we did screen to world point. That's what we used. We used it in that one, we used it in another one. So we come in here and we say, well, we want to convert to one. So we can say, well, let's just take mouse position equals camera.main dot screen to world position to world point, and it wants to take a vector 3 position. All right, mouse position. Boom, done. And we will now see mouse position. Play it. Notice done. Minus these numbers look much more like world positions. Now, you'll notice, however, that we're at minus 10. Why are we at minus 10? Well, the player isn't at minus 10, but the camera is, right? So we're converting through the camera, so the one thing that inherits from the camera is that minus 10 for Z. So that's one thing to be careful of. So we go to our code. if we're going to use that mouse position to set a position, to set something at the mouse, we want to be careful not to use the Z. So we could come here and say, mouse position dot Z equals what? 0. All right. And last but not least, what we want to do? Well, here's the player. Let's move the player to that position. Transform dot position equals mouse position. Done, right? We'll be done. Over here, press play. We're all over the place. We're awesome. We're moving in all kinds of crazy ways. We're decidedly two-dimensional there. We're moving in X and Y, which is not what we really want to do. In the Kaboom game, in the ApplePicker game, we want to just move left and right. So we don't really want to use all three components of that. We want to actually, what do we want to do? We want to set mouse position dot what? Y equals transform dot position dot Y. Don't want to change that one. We want to use the original. And we want to get that correct. There. So we're going to use the original Y position of the object. The Z position, we could arguably, we should do this. Right? We're going to use the object's Y and Z position, and we want to put them in order because I am being a little OCD here. X, Y, Z. Right? Now what? Now, will that work? I'm going to say yes. Practically have an ApplePicker game. All right? That's another good one for now. Okay? Practice that one. Decide. Is that how you want to move the mouse? Is that how you want to use that basket? What kind of graphics do you want to use? Is that how you want to do the sounds? Do you want to do different things? Think about how your structure is set up. So far I have what? I have a behavior for the chest because the chest is going to have something that collides with the apples. I have the player. It has some behavior because that's really what is determining where the chest is on the screen. I do have a script for the Lego tree, the apple tree, because after all, it has its behavior. And then I have a script for the apples. Right? So far, yeah, I guess most everything has a script on there. There is still the scene builder. It doesn't really have much going on it. Somewhere we're going to have to decide, okay, who's in charge of the score? Is that the player? Maybe. So think about how scoring would happen. Right? We'll leave that for a future discussion, or you can figure that out.